Hello, and welcome to Exercise 7 of our Environmental QGIS for Beginners course. To begin, open up the Exercise 7 workspace provided. In your Training Data folder, locate the folder called 01 Training Data 00 Workspaces. Open Exercise 7 Gaia, and save to your working folders under the location 02 Training Outputs 00 Workspaces as exercise7.qgs. As we have completed our geoprocessing, we can change the on-the-fly transformation settings so different layers with different CRS overlay for our mapping. In the menu bar, click Settings and then Options. Under CRS, select the option Automatically Enable On-the-Fly Reprojection if layers have different CRS. Click OK. In the menu bar, click Project and then Project Properties. Under CRS, ensure Enable on-the-fly CRS transformation in brackets OTF is activated. Then click OK. Your data should all be overlaying one another in your map canvas. If not, click Refresh. Let's create a map. In the menu bar, click Project and then New Print Composer, or use the shortcut Ctrl+P. Enter the title as Bremer Bay Overview, then click OK. This will create a new composer. Where workspaces deal with data, composers deal with creating maps drawing from the data in the workspace. The main areas of the composer are the composer toolbar, where the tools used for creating and manipulating your map are contained, map area, where the elements of the map are compiled, and general map options, which contain the general settings of the map. Enlarge the composer by clicking the Maximize button on the top right of the window. Then click the Zoom Full button in the top toolbar of your composer to enlarge the map area. Next, let's click Save Project. Go back to your workspace. You can toggle between the workspace and the map composer by clicking the QGIS tabs on the taskbar at the bottom of your screen. In your workspace, ensure the following layers are activated and sorted as per on screen in the table of contents. Note that how your data looks in the workspace is how it will look on your composer. So first we have weed points, then buffer 500 meters, followed by survey boundary final, nature reserves, roads, native vegetation, lakes, rivers, islands, and mainland. Now, uncheck the layer town. Return to your composer. In the menu bar, click View and activate Show Grid and Snap to Grid. This creates a snapping grid. When adding elements, they will snap to these points, allowing the items to be aligned. Their size, though, needs to be a little bit smaller. To the right of your map area, click Composition. Under Guides and Grid, change grid spacing to 5.5 millimeters. What this does is makes your snapping grids a little smaller, giving a bit more flexibility for where you can align your map elements to. Here are the map elements we will be adding to our map. So we have text labels, legend, north arrow, scale bar, a logo, grids, and the map canvas itself. Note, the types of elements you include in your map are reliant on what the map will be used for, where it will be used, and who the target audience is. So when you're done working with the data and you want to put it into a map, have a think about who it's going to and what they're going to use it for, so that you can design the map with the right message and purpose. In the left, or sometimes top, toolbar, click Add New Map. Click and drag the element to the extents on screen. To resize the element, hover over the corner until a double-ended arrow appears. Click on the arrow and drag the corner to where you want it to go. Snap the corners to your snapping grid. The data from your QGIS workspace will automatically fill the extents of the canvas. However, it might not be showing in the right location. Ensure the map canvas is selected. This is indicated by the white boxes on the corners. Click on Item Properties. These are the properties for the map, as that is the element selected. Under Extents, click on the Set to Map Canvas Extent button. If it's still not in the right place, you will need to do some manual adjusting. So, ensure the map is selected. In the toolbar, click the Move Item Content button. Drag the data around the frame and use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out until the data looks like this. For finer scale adjustments, you can enter values under Item Properties, Main Properties, and Scale. Once completed, click the Select Move tool. This allows you to move elements in your composer. For instance, you may want to move the map itself around the map canvas instead of the map content. Note that if the data in the map canvas is fuzzy or not drawing correctly, it may be cached. To check this, go to Item Properties, Main Properties. Ensure Cache is selected and click the Update Preview button. The map canvas will show the data you can currently see in the workspace. If you want to add or change the data in the computer, you will need to do it in the workspace first, then update the cache in the composer to see the details and changes take effect. To give your map canvas a border, ensure the map canvas is selected. In Item Properties, to the right of the map canvas, activate Frame and change the thickness to 0.25 millimeters. We can also color the background, which in this case indicates the ocean. So to do this, ensure Background is activated and change the color to different RGB value. So red at 211, green at 238, and blue at 228. Grids show us coordinate locations on the map canvas as a reference point. Ensure your map canvas is selected. In Item Properties, to the right of the map canvas, click on Grids. Click Add a new grid, and choose the grid type as Cross. Next, let's select an interval of x equals 10,000 and y equals 10,000. Now select a cross width of 1. Activate Draw Coordinates. In those settings, choose left as vertical ascending, right as vertical descending, font size 6, and coordinate precision of 0. Then click Save Project. We also want to add a title to our map. Click Add New Label. Click on the map area near the top right. And under the item properties, in main properties, modify the title from QGIS to location of weeds in Bremer Bay. Change the font style to bold and the font size to 12. Next, click on the text box and resize until you can see the text in full. Drag and resize the text box accordingly until you get it to look the way you want. Maps commonly have a company or organization logo, so let's have a look at how to do that. Click on Add Image, and then click and draw a square on the map canvas in the bottom right-hand corner. Under Item Properties, in Main Properties, click the Image Source button, which is the 3 dots to the right of the text box. In the browser, find and select the file 01 Training Data 04 Images Gaia Logo.png. Click Open. Drag and resize the image box accordingly until you get it the way that you like. Note, to fine-tune the location of elements, you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard as well. Scale bars give an important reference to the size and scale of the data or features in your map canvas. They tell you how big those features are in the real world. Click Add New Scale Bar. Click on the map canvas just above the logo. Under Item Properties, amend the scale bar to the following: segments left at 0 and right at 5. Select a fixed width of 2000 units and a height of 2 millimeters. Under Display, select a line width of 0.3 millimeters. And under Fonts and Colors, select a font size of 10. Let's drag the scale bar into place and size accordingly. Now the people that are looking at your map can measure distances and get a sense of scale. North arrows on maps indicate where the direction north is, and most commonly that's up, but in many cases maps can be orientated in different ways according to the data that you're trying to show, so they are an important element of your map. QGIS has an arrow element in its toolbar, but it's quite plain and blocky, and there are other alternatives. Let's have a look at one of them now. Click Add Image. Click and draw a small square on the map canvas above the scale bar. Next, under Item Properties and Search Directories, there are some default symbols already loaded for you to use. Note that previews might take a few seconds to load. Let's search for this arrow and click on it. It should show the image automatically in your image element. In Position and Size, change the width and height to 8. Now let's drag it above your scale bar in the map. Note that you can customize and create your own shapes for use in the Map Composer. Files for this must be in SVG format. Note also that arrows in maps indicate north. However, arrows in QGIS are only shown as an image and are not linked to the coordinate reference system in any way. As most projections will show north at the top of the map canvas, we can presume this orientation of the arrow is correct. However, some custom projections may not, and your maps may actually orient your data in a different direction. So Using the arrow in a composer should always be with some care and consideration. A legend gives more information on the data shown in the map canvas. It tells you, for instance, what all the colors of features in your map relate to. Maybe there are line fills or data sets that have different colors for different types of roads, for example. Let's have a look at a legend now. Click on Add New Legend. Click on the map canvas just below the title text. The legend will automatically add the data found in your workspace table of contents and list it for you. We're now going to have a look at the legend properties so that we can fine-tune it to our particular purposes. Under Item Properties, then Fonts, change the item font to size 10. Change the subgroup font to size 10 bold. Next, under Symbol, change the symbol width to 5 millimeters, and then change the symbol height to 3 millimeters. Let's click Save Project. Now, drag your legend so it sits just below the title. How does it look? There are plenty of properties that you can have a play with in the legend, and we've just shown you a few. Note, if you have finished editing the element, you can lock and unlock it from accidental edits by clicking the Lock Selected Items and Unlock All Items from the top toolbar. This is handy because as you move through the elements on a map, once you become happy with one thing, you don't want to accidentally move it and delete it and undo all your good work. On closer review of the map we've created, our weed points in the legend has a blank category we want removed. This sometimes becomes evident when you create a new legend. And you've decided you want to show the Bremer Bay town location. So there's a couple of changes we'll make. To amend this, we need to return to our workspace to update the data in the table of contents. Switch to your workspace. Then, double-click Weed Points in your table of contents to bring up the properties. Next, click on Style. Then select the blank value in your categories. Click Delete, then click OK. The blank category is now removed from your workspace. Check the Town layer to display it again and move it to the top of the table of contents. Switch back to the composer. The legend should have automatically updated with your changes. If not, under Item Properties, Legend Items, ensure that Auto Update is checked, or click Update All. If you need to refresh the map canvas, click on the map canvas to select it. Under Item Properties, then Main Properties, ensure Cache is selected, and click Update Preview, which looks like this. Note, using Update All loses any changes you may have made previously under Legend Items. You can update specific items in the legend by clicking the Update Item button. Now let's say we decide to edit the legend manually. This will not change layers in the workspace. Ensure the legend element is selected. Under Item Properties in the Legend Items, ensure Auto Update is unchecked. Under Item Properties, in Main Properties, delete the title Legend. In Legend Items, using the Legend toolbar, amend the following. Change the label from Survey Boundary Final to Survey Boundary. Remove islands from the list. Move the roads legend item so it sits above nature reserves. Then move the survey boundary to the top of the legend. Your legend will now be updated. Click Save Project. How does it look? There are various options when exporting your map. You can export as an image, where the general image outputs are produced such as PNG, JPEG, BMP, TIFF, etc. You can export as an SVG, which is a vector format that can be used in illustration software, or you can export as a PDF. We will be exporting to JPEG today. In the toolbar, click Export as Image. Locate your folder 02 Training Outputs 03 Image and find the file name Bremer Bay Overview. Save as type JPEG format, which is .jpg. Click Save. Leave the export options as default and click Save again. Now find where the file was saved in your local drive. Open and review your map. What do you think? Note if you close your composer, you can reopen it by going to Project, then Print Composers, then Bremer Bay Overview, or open the Composer Manager by clicking Project, then Composer Manager. QGIS has something called a QGIS Atlas, which is used to automatically produce multiple maps based on polygon extents. This is a really useful tool if you have the same type of map located at many different sites or locations in your study area. Before this can be used, you need to set up your map for automatic processing. For this exercise, we will be producing maps based on the survey boundary extents. Open your map composer, Bremer Bay Overview. Firstly, we need to set up the map canvas elements so it is ready to be controlled by the atlas. In the map composer, select the scale bar element. As our survey boundary extents are smaller, we will need to adjust the scale bar accordingly. Set the map scale bar as follows. Under Units, change the label for units to meters and the map units per bar unit to 10. Under Segments, let's set the right to 2 and fixed width to 1000 units. The scale bar won't look right at the moment, but it will when the atlas zooms in to each individual survey boundary area. The next step is we need to set up the atlas. Set the following. Under Configuration, change the coverage layer to Survey Boundary Final. Under Output, click the Expression button. Under the output file name expression, let's type Bremer Bay, then 2 vertical line characters, and then site name. Check the output preview at the bottom of the dialog box and click OK. Under Configuration, let's sort by site name. Select Item Properties and activate Controlled by Atlas. Then set the margin around the feature to 10%. What this does is it takes the polygon boundary that you've specified, our survey boundary final, and adds 10% of space around the map window. Before we create the map atlas, we will add an automatically updated label that indicates which boundary we are looking at in that particular map sheet. Click Add New Label and click just under the title of your composer. Next, click the Item Properties and under the Main Properties delete the text QGIS. Next, let's press the Insert an Expression button. In that expression, click Fields and Values, then Site Name. This should bring up your site name in your expression box. Click OK. The expression should now be seen in the main properties box. Next, let's resize, drag, and drop the text box underneath the title label. And click Save Project. Excellent! Before we export it, it is useful to check the Map Atlas preview tool to ensure the extent and map elements, like the scale bar, look as we expect it for each map extent. Click Preview Atlas on the top toolbar. Click Next Feature to toggle through each map extent. Now is a good time to tweak the layout or map element settings if required. Okay, it's time to export to a map atlas. To print the maps, click Export Atlas as Images. And note, it looks a lot like the Export as Image button, so hover over it with the mouse to make sure you get the right one. Select Export Atlas as Images. Then, search for the folder directory 02 Training Outputs 03 Image. Click Choose. Leave the export options as default and click Save. Give it a moment and then find this folder on your computer. You should now see 4 maps titled Bremer Bay _Site A to Bremer Bay _Site D. Open the map images and note that the scale bar will change size and the site name will change with each survey area. This is because your polygons that you're using are of different sizes. You can also export all maps to a single PDF file. Go back to the Map Composer. Make sure the map element is selected. Click on the Atlas Generation tab, then check Single File Export when possible under Output. Click Export Atlas as PDF. Give the file a name and click Save. Navigate to your export folder and open the PDF file. You'll see that each of the maps are a page in your PDF file. Save your workspace and close. That's the end of exercise 7. Hopefully you're now familiar with making maps and map books. There are plenty of settings in there to have a play around with, but once you've got it right for your organization and purpose, it's a product that you can reuse over and over again. Thanks very much for watching this video, and we hope you have lots of fun making your own maps.